everyone, I'm Alli and welcome to my channel and welcome to the first video of the 2020 HoliDIY season. This year I'm doing something a little bit different by taking each video that I make and showing you how to DIY for a different decor style, along with offering a few decorating tips. I don't want to talk too much at the beginning here, so I will explain that a little bit more after the first DIY. I'm starting with two of these Dollar Tree tag signs, and please don't be mad that I am covering up one of these beloved red truck prints. First, I sanded down both signs, and you can use the back of the signs for this project, but I decided I wanted to cover up the original designs instead. I also tried using some acetone to remove the glitter, but that didn't work very well. If you know of any tricks to remove the glitter easily, please let me know. I then gave both signs 2 coats of white chalk paint, letting the paint dry in between. Next, I took a piece of white and black buffalo check scrapbook paper and traced one of the tags on the back, then cut out the paper. I then used Mod Podge to apply the paper onto the tag and also put a layer of Mod Podge on top to seal it in. For the second tag, I just cut a smaller strip of the buffalo check paper and Mod Podged it to the bottom, as well as another layer on top to seal it in. Next, I took this wood snowflake that I've actually had in my stash for a long time and these wood letters from Hobby Lobby to spell out "Let It Snow." I decided to stain all of the pieces with Minwax Early American Stain and make sure you let that stain dry before moving on. After that, I used my square, I got this at Dollar Tree, to help me line up all of the wood pieces in the center of the tag, and then glued them down using hot glue. Just to distress the signs a little bit, I used some sandpaper and filed it all around the edges. This will also help smooth any of the paper that isn't perfectly trimmed to size. Now for the final details, I wrapped some jute twine 3 times around the bottom of each tag sign. And then used some thicker jute twine to string through and knot at the top of each sign. I then hot glued the tag signs together. And finally, I knotted both of the strings together. Today's video is part of Heidi Sonboul's DIY challenge for the month of November. She challenged us to make some Christmas themed DIYs, so I'll be sure to link Heidi's channel down below along with a link to the playlist so you can check out all of the other creators participating in this month's challenge. Now let me briefly talk about what I'm going to be doing with this series. It is going to be a 6-part video series on different decor styles, and along with showing you 5 DIYs for each style, you're also going to get a lot of decorating tips so that you can incorporate this decor style into your home. So since today is Modern Farmhouse Christmas, here are just a couple of the common themes and motifs that you would find throughout this very popular style. A big one with the Modern Farmhouse style is signage, which is exactly why I started my video out with the sign. Look for vintage enamel inspired wood or metal signs that have cute Christmassy or wintry phrases on them. And another way to pull this style together is by incorporating antique items like vases, mirrors, trays, or just really anything that just has a little bit more of that antique look. Next, I'm going to be taking these Dollar Tree bells and giving them a faux galvanized effect. I have done this technique on my channel before, so I'll also be sure to put a card and the link to that video because I really explain it in depth in that one as well. The key to make these bells look fantastic and like real metal is to spray them with 1 coat of silver spray paint first. Once the spray paint is dry, it's time to use some acrylic paint. I am first using a bristle brush to dab on a medium gray shade that almost blends in with the silver. I also used a paper towel to smudge away the excess paint and also add just a little more texture. I also made sure to paint the inside of the bells. Once the medium gray was on, I used the same technique but with dark gray. And then repeated that again with a light gray. Just to vary the texture a little bit, I used a small foam brush to dab on the light and medium gray paints. This technique is really all about layering until you think it looks right and still allowing some of the original silver paint to shine through. After all the paint dried, I cut a piece of Dollar Tree nautical rope, tied a knot on one end, strung it through the bottom of one bell and out the top, then through the top of the other bell and through the bottom, tying it in a knot at the end. I then wrapped a piece of jute twine around the nautical rope to create a loop at the top so that these bells can be hung up on the wall or wherever you want to put them. Next, I disassembled 2 Dollar Tree floral picks to just grab the pieces I wanted. I feel like these have just such a nice farmhouse vibe to them. And just to hold all of the pieces together, I used some hot glue and wrapped jute twine around the stems. I then used a little more hot glue and stuck the floral arrangements into the sides of the bells where those original decals were attached. And finally, to finish it off, I added a small buffalo check bow on top of each of the floral pieces. Next, I wanted to make a faux barnwood sign using some very simple items. You're going to need 3 pieces of basswood. Mine is from Hobby Lobby. I measured and cut each piece down to 16 inches, and basswood is just a super great material to work with because you can easily cut it with a utility or craft knife. Once your wood is cut, you'll also need 2 packs of these 1.5 by 12 inch pieces of utility wood from Hobby Lobby. You'll get 2 pieces in each pack, so you'll have a total of 4 pieces. I then stained all of the pieces with the early American stain. Now, I didn't quite like how this color turned out, so to kind of weather and age the pieces, I coated all of them with this pickling wash. I got this at Michael's years ago. I have no idea if you can still buy it, but I think using like a taupey colored acrylic paint and just really watering it down would work just as well. I applied it to each of the boards with a bristle brush, let it soak in for a few seconds, then wiped off the excess with a paper towel. And here you can really see the difference between the boards. After all the pieces dried, I began assembling the sign by using my square to help me align the 12-inch support piece. I then glued each bosswood piece on top, and I did this on the top and bottom of the back of the sign, then repeated that whole process again on the top and bottom of the front of the sign. So you'll have 2 of those 12-inch pieces sandwiching the bosswood. Now you could keep it as is, but as an extra detail to make this look really high-end, I decided to add some tiny finishing nails to the ends of the support boards. It's a small step, but it makes a huge impact. I also added a longer nail to the top center support board on an angle so that it can hold a wreath. And I got this mini wreath at Hobby Lobby. And as the finishing touch, I took one of these galvanized word signs from Dollar Tree and used E6000 glue to attach it to the bottom of the sign. Now I want to talk a little bit about the colors you'll find with a modern farmhouse Christmas style. You'll see a lot of black and white along with silver and some pale green and pops of red. One of the most common patterns that you'll see with this style is that black and white buffalo check, which you'll see a lot throughout my DIYs in this video. This style also incorporates a lot of natural textures like you would find in wood or in a woven basket or jute twine or even cotton stems. And then of course you can't forget those cozy handmade looking knitted textures along with some warm white lighting. I always like to include a really simple DIY, and that's exactly this one. I got this little tree from Hobby Lobby. You can also use a Dollar Tree mini tree, and then just used a combination of Dollar Tree and Hobby Lobby garland ties to fill it out a little bit more. Next, I took some of this Dollar Tree snow spray. I was so excited they had this year, and gave the tree a nice dusting. Once that snow dried, I wrapped the tree with some fairy lights and then tied a black and white buffalo check bow to the top. And to finish this DIY off for a really cool looking base, just something that's very modern farmhouse, then I placed the tree inside this DIY'd mud vase that I will be sure to link to you. This turned out so great. Finally, with each of these videos, I'm showing you some ornament ideas. So let's talk about how you can make a modern farmhouse style Christmas tree. Now for the tree itself, you want to look for something that is either a lighter evergreen color or a flocked tree to bring in that winter wonderland feel. These trees typically have some sort of ribbon running throughout, and they usually are a black and white buffalo check or a burlap ribbon. Now as for the ornaments, you want to look for white ornaments, black and white ornaments that are combined, or even some greens, reds, as well as silver and like a platinum gold color. Just like how signs are very popular in the decor, any sort of ornament that has words on it or cute little phrases is perfect for this style. And of course, don't forget to incorporate those natural elements and textures into the tree. Fifth and final project, I am making a set of farmhouse inspired ornaments. I'm using 3 textured bulbs and 3 plain bulbs. I got these at Dollar Tree. First, I took them all outside and spray painted them with some primer. After an hour, I gave the 3 textured ornaments a coat of anvil gray chalky finish spray paint. Now you'll see more than 3 right here. That's because the extras are for an upcoming project. Now for the textured ornaments, after the spray paint dried, I brushed on a layer of white chalk paint, but light enough so that the white only covered the relief of the bulbs, which left the dark gray around all of the nooks and crannies still showing through. And I think this just has a perfect modern farmhouse look. Now for the plain bulbs, I painted them each with 2 coats of white chalk paint. Once the chalk paint dried, I used wire cutters to help me score these galvanized letter I's that I found at Hobby Lobby. And once they're scored, you can bend them back and forth to snap them in half. I curved each piece slightly just to match the face of the bulbs, and then used some really tiny letter stickers to spell out joy, peace, and Noel on each of the little metal bits. After that, I used Gorilla brand hot glue for a nice strong bond to attach the pieces onto the bulbs. And as the final touch, I have these mini brad fasteners that I removed the backing off of and then hot glued to each side of the metal pieces. That does it for my modern farmhouse Christmas DIYs and decorating tips. I really hope you enjoyed this video. It is different from what I have typically done with DIYs. I hope these tips are something that you enjoyed. Honestly, any feedback that you can give me, if you liked it, if you think I should skip it for the rest of the videos in this series, let me know down in the comments. I still have 5 more decor styles that I'm going to be tackling over the next few weeks, so if you don't want to miss that, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. I'm actually going to be posting twice a week for I think the next 3 to 4 weeks, maybe even a little bit more than that, so you don't want to miss out. Once again, this is part of Heidi Sonboul's DIY challenge, so all of the links for her channel and the channel playlist are in the description box. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye!